But yeah, that I understand. All right. When we do. Hey, great job, boys! Can I jump like this? No, he's gonna jump in the air. That would have been fun.
Good evening and welcome to Mesmer Stadium. My name is David Winkler, and once again I'm joined by my partner in crime, John Carmody. Mark Carmody will be joining us from the sideline again tonight. We've got a great non-district matchup in store for you as the 2-0 Loyola Flyers will take on the 0-2 Magnolia Charter School Mariners. That's a name you may not be familiar with, and for good reason, because Magnolia has only had a football team for about 3 weeks now in terms of season play anyway. Obviously, they got started practicing a little bit sooner than that. They're coached by Andy Monica, who actually is a Loyola graduate, so some Loyola ties there. And, John, these two teams share the Mesmer Stadium field in kind of a quirk of what happened in scheduling this year is the LHSA would not allow the Magnolia School Stadium to be used for official games this year. So while they upgrade their stadium, they're using the field here at Mesmer. So the teams are fairly familiar with each other, and it ought to set up for a great non-district battle. So, John, tonight the Flyers come in as heavy favorites, probably the biggest favorite they'll be all year. Magnolia has lost their first two games by a combined 112 points. So what do you look for in tonight's game? What can the Flyers do? I mean, beyond win the game, what can the Flyers do to come out of this game healthy and moving forward in preparation for their district season coming up?
Yeah, we talked about at the beginning of the season about it's all a maturation process. You have sophomores that are coming in. You've got to get them acclimated to being able to play high school football. And we've seen that in the first few games. And of course, thankfully, it's been through a couple of wins. But at the end of the last game, we talked about the fact that they had a big lead on Delhi Charter, and the game got sloppy. And so, that's the thing. In this game, they are favorites, and they're big favorites. And so, in these type of games, you can see kids want to do too much, try to really, come outside of themselves, go look for the spectacular play. And that's not what they need to do. This is all about a maturation process. Get to where the district, get to where you want to be in the playoffs. And so in this game, they have to really catch themselves, making sure they are taking care of their responsibility. They looked at film, they know what they run, but it's your job to make sure that you're taking care of your responsibility on the field, whether offensively with your blocking or your routes, or reading the defense if you're Jacob Lafitte, and on the defensive side, it's about staying in your holes and being there for counters and traps and 1Gs and everything else that they're going to be thrown at them.
All right, John, we'll be right back in just a minute. The Flyers are going to look to go 3-0 on the young season. Make sure you come back and join us. We're going to kick it right now to the starting lineups. We'll be back with you in just a minute.
Graham Mayo, senior.
Thomas Murphy, senior.
Luke Albin, senior.
Troy Mosley, junior.
Kenyatta Davis, sophomore.
AJ Taylor, senior. Trey Taylor, sophomore.
Brandon Williams, senior.
Ellis Tompkins, junior.
Reese Barb, senior.
Jacob Lafitte, sophomore.
Jonathan Durrell, senior.
Jack Bodden, senior. Cody Kilgarland, junior.
Sam Schwach, junior.
Michael Key, junior.
Ian Birch, junior.
Luke Hammer, senior.
Neil Brock, senior.
Joshua Jackson, senior.
Pierce Jackson, junior.
Dylan Williams, senior.
Cecilia Shardar with a beautiful. As we approach kickoff here,
9 miles per hour.
any last thoughts before we get this thing underway?
Yeah, so far what we've seen in this season, we've seen a pretty good balance. Reese Barb is averaging about 130 yards a game. Jacob Lafitte is averaging about 160 to 170 yards passing in the game. So you're seeing Loyola's balance. And we talked about that at the beginning of the season, that it's going to really take Reese Barb in the running game to really kind of set up the passing game. The whole point of running a run-pass option is the fact that the run has to be established. And so they've done a very good job of that in the first two games. Reese Martin's really set the tone in the first two games, and then it has allowed Jacob Lafitte these opportunities. And when given the opportunities, Jacob has done a fantastic job. He's hit some really big plays, and he's really played with a lot of patience and a lot of calm for a sophomore starting his first two games.
So tonight's captains for the Flyers are going to be number 1, A.J. Taylor, number 3, Dylan Williams, number 7, Landon Martin, and number 20, Matt Monsour. Game time temperature for kick is 76 degrees, winds 6 miles an hour out of the southeast. So, John, a much more comfortable night than last weekend when field temperatures were well over 100, heat index figured in. The Flyers should feel a lot more comfortable tonight out there on the turf at Messmer Stadium.
Yeah, it's a beautiful night tonight, and it really does make you think about the weather tonight, and our thoughts go out to the people in southeast Texas that were affected by the storm rolling through, and certainly there are a lot of listeners that are from the Houston area, and our thoughts go out to them. But for us tonight, it is a beautiful Friday night playing football. And really, if you ever have the opportunity to come in town, this is really one of the best experiences. We got to witness all of the kids lined up in the back of pickup trucks as the team was coming out, revving the engines as the kids come out. It's really an exciting situation. And really, you can see down below us, it's really an electric situation. So I encourage anybody who hasn't been to Messmer Stadium, when you come in town, to come and visit. These games really are a treat.
All right, so about ready to kick here. The Flyers will kick off. Magnolia will receive the opening kick. Matt Monsour will handle the kicking duties for the Flyers.
You know, one of the interesting things about the kickoff, we've seen early on in the season that they've been really kicking deep. We actually have a pretty good breeze tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see if that changes the Flyers' philosophy about how they're going to kick.
Back deep to receive for the Mariners will be number 3, John Tavius Taylor, and number 11, John Jernigan. They'll stand at their own 5, awaiting the Monsour kick.
And of course, judging from the direction of the flags, their Flyers are kicking into the wind right now, so it'll be interesting to see what they're going to try to do here.
And we're off. Monsour's kick will bounce out of bounds at about the 16-yard line, and that's going to draw our first yellow hanky of the night, John.
You know, and Monsour has kicked that kick in the first two games pretty easily, and that ball's been getting down to about the 15 or 10-yard line, and it's been staying in bounds. And again, he hits that kick, and it actually goes out of bounds. Just what we talked about, that the wind may be actually swirling pretty good down there.
Support your Loyola Flyer football team. 1st and 10 at the 35 for Magnolia.
Cameron Douglas leads the Mariners out for their first possession of the night. He'll be joined in the backfield by Joshua Jefferson, flanked out wide by Derek McCracken.
Cameron Douglas at quarterback.
First carry is going to go to Jefferson. Jefferson's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose 2 yards.
Joshua Jefferson carries. He runs into
brought down by
a
host of Flyers led by Cody Kilgarland. Be a loss of 2. Make it 2nd and 12.
Cody Kilgarland did a great job of coming off the nose right there and making that play.
Snap goes over Douglas's head. The Flyers look like they make it on it. But a quick thinking right there by Mekhi Butler, who got on it for the Mariners. They will lose about 14 yards, though, and that'll set up 3rd and 25.
It was a nice play by Ian Birch. The quarterback was trying to pick up the ball, and he actually knocked the quarterback out of position to give the Flyers defense a chance for their recovery.
Flyers look like they're going to bring pressure. Another bad snap. This time Douglas just has to hold on to it, and he'll be brought down for another loss. It's going to be a loss of 3 this time. It'll set up 4th and very long, and the Mariner punting unit will come out onto the field. The start you wanted, if you're a Flyer fan, 3 and out, and you're going to get the ball back in great field position.
And again, what you'd expect, they were in 3rd and a long situation, and Loyola brought the blitz, and so they're going to pressure the quarterback.
Joshua Jefferson.
Brand new program in their 3rd game, and you're going to pressure them on 3rd down.
Joshua Jackson.
Very smart.
And Pierce Jackson.
Now, Douglas is a relative graybeard in terms of the Mariners players. He's a junior. They're a team that's not very big, and they feature more than their fair share of freshmen and 8th graders. Another bad snap, but a great job by Josh Jefferson to pick it up. He's still got it, but he's not going to get anywhere near the line to gain. He'll be brought down at the 19-yard line, and that's where the Flyers will take over. Deep in Mariner territory, 1st and 10.
Ball marked at 19.
And you can see on that snap, the very high snap, I think the Flyers are going to have a chance to block one of these punts.
1st and 10 Flyers.
So here comes Jacob Lafitte, his 2nd start here in Mesmer.
Quarterback number 9.
Coming off a really nice game last week when the Flyers defeated Delhi Charter 34-8. This time he's going to keep it. He's got some room around the right end, and he's going to take it all the way. Looks like they're going to say, touchdown Flyers! First carry of the game. Jacob Lafitte for 19 yards and a Flyer touchdown. And John, with 9:51 left here in the first quarter, the Flyers are already up 6-0.
But right there is a perfect example of what we talked about maturation. Here's Jacob. He was looking for AJ, who was kind of running a quick post route, and it wasn't open. And so instead of forcing the issue, he used his feet, and look at what he got out of it.
So Matt Monser set to attempt the extra point. The kick is up, and it is good. So your score here early in the first quarter, Loyola 7. Magnolia nothing. We're going to go to Art Carmody on the sideline.
That couldn't start out any easier for the Flyers. The Flyers caused Magnolia Charter to go back on offense. Bad punt snap leads to a short field, and Jake Lafitte shows his athleticism at quarterback, taking it all the way. Flyers up 7-0. David and John, back to you.
All right, thank you, Art.
Pleasure welcome our alumni here tonight. Also,
Matt Monser, who
Origin Bank.
you figure is going to be a busy man tonight between kickoffs and extra points. John will
provided by Origin Bank.
Tee it up and send it deep. Back deep to receive will once again be John Tavis Taylor and John Jernigan for the Mariners.
And there must have been a penalty on the extra point. The Flyers are kicking off from the 45-yard line.
Mansour to kick off.
So Mansour kicking from the Mariner 45. Gets under it a little bit. It'll be fielded at the 9 by Jernigan. And Jernigan's going to be brought down not too soon afterwards. He'll get it up to about the 13-yard line.
John Jernigan on the return. He's stopped by twin brothers, Chase Jackson and Pierce Jackson.
The Jackson brothers will bring him down there.
They stayed in their lanes well. It was a really nice play on both their parts.
So here come the Mariners once again,
Magnolia.
starting from deep in their own territory. Cameron Douglas. He'll take the snap, actually get a decent snap that time. He'll hand it off to Mekhi Butler. Butler maybe gets a yard. That's about it. Make it 2nd and 9.
In the interior of Loyola's line,
carries,
a great job of not coming upfield on that.
Stop. Gain of 1, 2nd down 9.
Right now, the Flyer defensive line is under complete control of the line of scrimmage.
And and they've played well all season. We've made many comments about the defensive line and, of course, the linebackers.
Again, the handoff goes to Jefferson. But he'll go nowhere. Actually, back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Durrell on the stop along with Bodden. Make it 3rd and 8.
But again, I like the fact that they're gang tackling right here out of the gates. I mean, you want to make sure you're a favorite. You want to make sure that your head is in this game, that you're playing with intensity.
Douglas going to toss it this time to Jefferson, and Jefferson's still going the wrong direction. They're going to give him forward progress at the 10, but that's still going to be a loss of 5 yards. And that'll make it 4th and 13, and we'll see the Mariner punting unit once again. And, John, I imagine that they're hoping for a little bit better exchange between the center and the punter this time.
Again, here's another name we call out, Michael Key. He did a fantastic job of coming up field, turning that running back inside and letting Bodden come and cleaning that up.
Jefferson back to punt.
Jefferson will handle the punting duties for the Mariners. Josh Jackson and Pierce Jackson back to receive for the Flyers. This time he gets the punt off. It's decent, but it takes a great Loyola bounce all the way back to the 21-yard line, and the Flyers, with their second possession of the night, are going to again have fantastic field position.
Again, this is what you would
Thanks
expect.
to our All-American sponsors.
You want your defense staying crisp through this. You want your offense staying crisp through here. So, the fact that Magnolia really hasn't moved the ball very much is not surprising. But you have to keep your head in the game.
Sure Access MD, the Think Network, and River City's Interventional Pain Specialist.
Lafitte's going to hand off to Ebarb this time. Ebar's got a nice hole. He'll cross the 15 down to the 13. It's going to be a gain of 8. Set up 2nd and 2.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
Looks like they're going to give him a gain of 7, so 2nd and 3.
Reese did a nice job of kind of reading that. The hole kind of opened up to the right a little bit, and he just stayed behind his blockers.
Again, Ebarb's going to take the handoff. He's got a hole you could drive a truck through, and he's going to go all the way in for a Flyer touchdown. Reese Ebarb. And the Flyers are off to the quick start that you know they wanted, John. 13-0.
And right there was no tricks. It was just straight ahead blocking, and he just kind of ran it right up the gut. And that's where he is very effective, is when he is running straight ahead, he is a load to take down.
Lorette to hold.
So Mansour ready to attempt his 2nd extra point of the evening. And the kick is good. So 7:15 left here in the first quarter, and the Flyers are already up 14-0. We're going to go down to the sidelines for Art Carmody.
3 offensive plays for the Flyers, and it's already 14-0. Down here on the sidelines, I can't say it is very windy. That may cause some problems throwing the football, but the Flyers all control on the ground, up 14-0. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Art. So, John, the Flyers off to the start they wanted, and if you're Coach Jeter, obviously the way you want this game to play itself out is Flyers get up big in the first half. Second half, you get your young kids in the game, you get your starters out. You don't want to risk any unnecessary injury in a game like this. Everybody wins, and right now the Flyers are headed in that direction.
And you can see that all the Loyola players they have their heads in the game right now. Right there, that was straight ahead blocking. You had a man on a man, and everybody got their block, giving Reese the opportunity to get to the secondary, and from there, he's able to just bowl over people.
So Mansour to kick. It's going to be a little short squibber. Let's see. Oh, there's a mistake right there. If you're a Mariner fan, that's the youth. That ball was clearly going to go out of bounds. but Jernigan comes up and touches it. They could have had it 15 yards further down the field, John, after the penalty would have been assessed, but instead it's going to be first down from the 21.
And I like them working with Mansour on different kicks. These are kicks that he may have to use later on in the season. So in this game, it's going to be interesting to see if they do an assortment of kicks.
So the Flower defense batting 1,000 so far here in the first quarter. 2 possessions by the Mariners and 2 3-and-outs. And we're going to get a quick timeout on the field. And we'll take a timeout with them real quick. We'll be right back. You're watching Flower Football on LCP TV. All right, welcome back to Mesmer Stadium.
The grandstand.
Flyers with a quick early lead, 14-0, 7:15 left here in the first quarter. My name is David Winkler, joined by John Carmody, and you've heard twice already from our main man on the field, Art Carmody. Here come the Mariners for their 3rd possession of the night. Another high snap. This time it's bought in well and handed off to Joshua Jefferson. Jefferson maybe gets a yard out of it. Let's see if the official gives it. Yep, they'll give him a yard, so it'll be 2nd and 9. Pierce Jackson on the tackle for the Flyers.
That's a nice play for Pierce Jackson coming
2nd down and 9.
from the safety position. But again, it shows you that if he's coming up from the safety position, and it was fairly well blocked up to that point. So it's good that, again, he is alert, ready to come up and give support.
Cameron Douglas looked like he was going to attempt his first pass of the evening, but I'm not sure he's going to have enough time to get a pass off with the way the Flyer defense is getting into his backfield. And that's going to be a loss of 3 and make it 3rd and 12.
Stopped by Bodden and Zwak.
And again, Jack Bodden is coming. We've seen a lot of blitzes so far.
3.
So,
3rd down,
Coach
12.
Jackson really is bringing a little bit of pressure here and wants to make sure he's got a comfortable enough lead.
So Cameron Douglas just
again.
looking to get in. There's another bad snap, and Douglas is going to be brought down. He did manage to corral it. We do have a flag on the play. Let's see what that's all about. The Flyers were in there awfully quick. You wonder almost if they got a little bit of a
Douglas
jump.
tackled in the backfield by Bodden and Durrell.
Bodden and Durrell are in there to make the play. Now let's see what that flag's all about.
Again, you're in a shotgun situation with really an all-out blitz, and so how quick that ball gets to you, the quarterback, is going to mean everything, and they've certainly had their problems so far in the game.
When you just kind of see that probably illustrates the Mariners' inexperience as a team about better than anything else. Is that they're having trouble getting the center quarterback exchange off on nearly every play. These are the kind of things that 3rd and 4th grade youth teams are working on, much less a high school football team. Flag's going to go against
personal foul call
against the Flyers. And it's a personal foul, and that's going to be enough to give the Mariners their first down of the game. It'll come via penalty,
and
it'll take it up to the 34-yard line.
With the way that flag was thrown, it makes you think that one of the linebackers maybe was hitting the center kind of in a defenseless position.
Timeout on the field.
So, again, if they're going to be putting a lot of pressure on, they need to certainly be
welcome
watching
to all
for
those
that.
alums who are with us this evening. A reminder, we'll be going on the field during halftime. We invite you to get out there as soon as possible.
Are you
And speaking of
fishing for
reunions,
some fun?
welcome to the class
Grab
of
your pierogi and your
1989.
fishing pole
Class of
and
1989
join
is
Snoopy
with
and the
us.
LCP class of 2020 on November
Being a part of
13th
the Loyola
for the
community.
67th annual
Once again.
Style Show. Born on the Bayou. Tickets to the Style Show can be purchased
And again, thanks to
online,
our
and tonight we have
Flyer
students
Alumni
selling
Association
sweepstakes
tailgate
tickets
sponsor,
for the
Origin
Style Show
Bank.
for prizes valued at
Thanks to Origin
$500
Bank
or
for
greater.
being
So if you're listening to
sponsored
us
for
in the
annual
stadium tonight,
alumni
which you
tailgate
can
here
do
in
on your
Western
smart
City.
device, find one of those students. Get your sweepstakes tickets now and come watch your favorite senior jazz it up on the runway on November 13th.
First and 10.
Get back to action, and the Mariners
34.
will have their best field position of the night from their own 34-yard line. First and 10 from here. Handoff's going to go inside that time to Makai Butler. And Butler
carries
going to pick up
Durrell and
about a
Bodden
yard,
at the stop.
make it 2nd and 9.
Gain of
Durrell
one.
and Bodden on the
2nd
stop
and 9.
for the Flyers.
Again, the play call is designed to try to run a quick little trap inside, hoping that the Flyer defense is going to come upfield enough to create that seam, and the Flyers are playing it beautifully.
We're going to get our first pass of the game tonight, which was dangerously close to being backwards by Cameron Douglas, John. He looked like that could have been 6 inches further backwards, and that would have been a potential turnover.
Which, I mean, again, that's a decent play call. When you've been being blitzed a lot, throwing a quick little screen pass to the running back.
It's 3rd and 9 for the 35.
So 3rd and 9. Flyer defense looking to get off the field here. Pitch is going to go to Jefferson, and Jefferson's going to be brought down right at the line of scrimmage. So Flyer defense up
That's
to the
Jefferson,
task there, and it'll set up
by
a
Bodden and Pierce
4th
Jackson.
and 9. Actually, looks like they gave him a yard, make it 4th and 9. Pierce Jackson on the stop for Loyola.
And again, I mean, that's a little quick pitch.
Gain of
You
one,
see the
4th and 8
defense
at the 36.
swarming. So that's got to make the Loyola coaches feel good that you have 3 or 4 guys that are in on the tackle.
And I'm not sure they are going to punt this, John. Looks like, well, maybe they are. Let's see. All right, so it looks like Jefferson's going to step back now. He actually gets a decent snap. And that putt's going to mercifully fly out of bounds at around the, let's see where they walk it up to. Looks like they're going to say, generously say, the Flyer 46-yard line.
So this is the first time that Loyola's going to start a drive in their own side of the field. Be it only 4 yards on their side of the field, but
you get the impression it really doesn't matter where they start their drives from. They're probably going to end up in the end zone if they don't shoot themselves in the foot. 4:21 left here in the first quarter. Flyers lead it 14-0. Feet looking to throw. He's going to pass out into the flats, and he's got his receiver out there. That is Nathan Lorette. And Lorette gets it all the way across midfield down to the Mariner 39-yard lines. It's a gain of 15 and a first down for the Flyers.
nice throw and catch right there, and Nathan Lorette did a nice job of turning it up. It would have been nice to see him kind of stay inside of his 2 blockers, but getting on the outside, he did use his speed and get some extra yards.
Handoff's going to go to Reese Ebarb. Reese Ebarb plows over 2 Mariner players down to the 31-yard line. It's a gain of 8. Make it 2nd and 2.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1.
Yeah, Reese hit that hole so fast that his pulling guard wasn't even out in front of him.
Again, the handoff goes to Ebar, but we're going to have a flag on the play. It's like a motion penalty against the Flyers, so mark it back. It'll still be 2nd down.
Did you know that athletic trainer Chris Campbell is provided through our working relationship with Christus Health and the Highland Center for Orthopedics?
Again, that's 2 penalties so far in the first 8 minutes or so of this game.
Second down, 6.
So
for the
it's going to be
Flyers.
interesting to see if that's a trend.
So 2nd and 7. Flyers now sit at the 36-yard line. Handoff goes to Ebarb again. Ebarb breaks tackles, 2-3 tackles. He's finally brought down at the 23-yard line.
He's tackled by Macon.
That's a gain of 11.
Gain of 17.
Excuse me. No, that's a
Excuse me,
gain.
gain of 12.
12.
To 23. It's a first down.
And it's good enough for a Flyer first down.
Again, very strong running by Reese Ebarb. As soon as he was hit, his feet were still churning.
This time, Lafitte's going to throw. He's got his man, A.J. Taylor. Taylor makes one man miss and takes it across the 10
pass caught
down to the 9, and that's where the
A.J.
Flyers
Taylor.
will have it first and
Tackled
goal.
by Desmond Manning.
Gain of 14 on the play.
Ball at the 9. First and goal, Flyers.
That's a great play, and again, it shows future defenses that you're going to have to make sure that you're playing honest against them.
Lafitte again, hands off to Ebarb, and Ebarb walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Flyers! Reese Ebarb on a 9-yard touchdown run, and the Flyers now have a 20-0 lead.
Again, a very efficient, 54-yard drive right there. He had a little bit of
Sponsor of the
running,
extra
a little
point.
bit of very safe passes.
To hold.
So,
Correction.
again,
Correct to hold.
it shows you what Reese Ebarb can do for your offense.
Mansour set to kick his 3rd extra point of the night. And he is a
Extra point
perfect
is
3 for
good.
3 on the evening. So 3 minutes, 2 seconds left here in the first quarter. The Flyers now lead at 21-0. We're going to go down to Art Carmody.
Nothing. Flyers moving fast on offense, and talking to Coach Jeter, it is a young offense, and he wants to get them to get as many game reps as possible. So you may continue to see the offense moving fast. But so far, Flyers defense, offense, and special teams in complete control of 20-0. David and John, back to you.
Once again.
All right, thanks, Art.
On LCP TV, all home games are broadcast. Invite you to become a
So
Flyer
Mansour
football
is set to
subscriber.
kick off again. As I said, John, a busy man here in the
Mansour
first
to kick
quarter.
off.
And again, he's going to squiv it. It's going to be fielded by the up man at the 28-yard line. That's Cameron Jackson, and Jackson will carry it up to, let's see where they mark it. They're going to give him the 36. And the Mariners will
Cameron
have
Jackson on
decent
the
field
return.
position
He's tackled by Michael Key and Wes Barlow.
for their most recent possession.
Again, I mean, that right there is going to show coaches in film
Gained to the 35.
if these guys
First and
on their
10,
kicks are
Mariners.
staying in their lane, staying with their responsibilities. So I like the kick. I like the coverage that they've had so far.
So Douglas pitches back to Jefferson. Jefferson gets it
on
up
the carry. He's tackled
to the 31,
by
which is
Michael
going to
Key.
actually be a loss of about 4. Michael Key on the stop for the
Loss
Flyers.
of 4 on the play.
Make it second and
down.
14.
And 14.
And again, we may be calling Michael Key's name a lot tonight. I mean, he played that beautifully. He was out. He had his outside shoulder free. The running back went to the outside. He freed himself off the block and made the play.
Flyer defense doing a fantastic job so far in this one. Cameron Douglas and his Mariners have been completely stifled so far. It looks like that was a broken play, and Douglas is going to get brought down after a gain of 1.
Douglas carries. He's tackled by Dylan Williams.
Dylan Williams
and
on the
Michael
stop
Key.
for the Flyers, and make it 3rd and about 12.
You know, right there's another illustration right there. Dylan Williams hadn't had much action coming his direction, and so you might think he might get lulled to sleep, but right there he is paying attention to what's going on, and he is offering strong support.
13.
Handoff again goes to Jefferson, and Jefferson picks up a couple of yards, but not near enough to move the chains. It'll be 4th and 11. And it looks like the Flyer defense is going to make its way off the field one more time after a quick 3 and out.
Gain of 2, 4th and 11.
Jefferson back to kick again, and the Flyer defense looks like they're going to play more of a little prevent, a bad snap, and ball's going to be blown dead right there. And that's where the Flyers are going to take over.
The Flyers at the
Flyers will have it 1st and 10 at the Mariner 21. So, John, the special teams for the Mariners is struggling, to say the least.
You know, like we talked about it, you know, getting that ball back to the punter quick enough to help him do something. That ball is spending way too much time in the air, and punter certainly having a hard time. Anybody would have the jitters if I'm sitting back there for 2.5 seconds waiting on the football to get to me.
Here comes Jacob Lafitte. And this time he's going to hand off. And that'll be Brandon Williams on the carry. He'll be knocked out around the 17-yard lines. It'll be a 4-yard carry and make it 2nd and 6.
Again, the wide receiver end around is a great play call, something we hadn't seen yet tonight. I bet they're going to open up the offensive playbook as much as it's ever been opened up.
And Kashawn English now joins Lafitte in the Flyer backfield. He's going to take the handoff, and he fights his way back to up to about the 15. He'll pick up 2 yards on the carry. It'll make it 3rd and a long 3.
4.
Kashawn's probably like, hey, fellas, where are those big holes y'all were creating for Reese Ebarb a minute ago?
I think he was looking for the hole and then waited a little too long.
That's the end of the first quarter.
And let's see, the official did the quarter in before the flag was thrown. Let's see. We got a flag from the official standing on the 5, and the quarter ended. So I imagine she just picked, the official had to just pick that flag up, John.
Looks like it.
All right.
Doesn't look like she's communicating with anybody to relay a flag. So.
Well, that'll be the end of the first quarter, and everything's hunky-dory if you're a Flyer fan. Flyers lead at 21-0, knocking on the door for a 4th score as we move to the second quarter here. Great crowd here at Mesmer tonight. It's homecoming. Great student section. And we've got plenty of alumni that have shown up to support the Flyers on homecoming tonight.
Yeah, we talked earlier about coming out here for the experience. The experience for homecoming here is really something special. The halftime honoring all alumni, the reunion classes being here, really a lot of credit goes to the school for the way that they do homecoming.
To resume play, 3rd and 4.
So 3rd and 4. Flyers now moving to the north end zone. They'll have the wind at their back, what little wind there is. Handoff's going to go to English. And there's a bigger hole for English. He's going to cross the 10. He's going to cross the 5. Touchdown, Flyers! 15-yard touchdown run for English.
Looks like we're going to have a hold, though, I think, on one of the wide receivers on the outside as he decided to break that outside. Looks like they're going to get caught for a hold.
I think it might actually be an illegal block,
Yep,
and that's
illegal
exactly
block.
what it
Yep.
is. So, very observant of you there, Mr. Carmody. So that's going to take that touchdown off the board and move the Flyers back. It'll still be 3rd down. We'll see from exactly where the block occurred.
There's a flag on the play, blocking the back.
They're going to mark it back at the 16-yard line, or well, that's the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it happened about 10 yards downfield, and it's calling it a 10-yard penalty.
All right, so we're right back where we started.
English will pick up 8 yards.
3rd and 5, or a long 4.
7.
Depends on how you want to look at it.
Blocking the back.
This time Lafitte's going to look to throw. He's got a man wide open in the end zone, and he cannot hang on to it. It was intended for Chase Jackson, and that was a really good throw from Lafitte there, John, but Jackson just couldn't hang on. So the Flyers will now have a 4th down. Let's see what they decide to do here. It's well within Monsour's field goal range if they want to go that route, or they can just leave Lafitte on the field and try to convert this 4th down.
What I liked about that play right there was
4th and 5.
Magnolia
At the
blitz
16.
right there. And so Jacob stood his ground. He got a good block on the blitzing outside linebacker. And so he knew he had coverage down, basically one-on-one coverage, and that was the right throw to make. And he gave his receiver every chance to get there.
So they're going to go for it. They need the 11-yard line for a 1st down, do the Flyers. And we're going to have another flag here.
That's going to be offsides on them. And it was a great call going on 2 in that situation. Again, you have nothing to lose. Now you pick up the easy 1st down.
So the Flyers will get their first down via the penalty route. And it'll be just outside the 10-yard line, so they can.
They're calling it 4th down for some reason. They haven't
Well,
moved
they're saying
the sticks at all.
I'm surprised.
Penalty marks
Coach
the
Jeter.
ball to the 11.
Yeah, that's got to be a 1st down. And Jeter's
Coach
going to have to
Jeter is
insist
asking.
on a measurement, if nothing else here.
Coach Jeter says it's a 1st.
Which it
There
seems
we
like
go.
there's a
So,
yeah. We weekly talk about how the high school officials are absolutely
5-yard
loath
penalty
to
will be a
measure
1st down for
anything.
the Flyers. 1st and 10.
So
at
1st
the
and
11.
10, they can get a 1st down at the 1. Handoff is going to go to English. English dances his way across the 10 and down to the
English
7-yard
carries, tackled by
line. Be a gain of
Keandros
4.
Williams.
Make it 2nd and 6.
He really made a very nice sidestep right
Gain
there.
of 4.
And
Second
then
down,
ran
6.
up ahead. I mean, that play was destined to lose about 3 or 4 yards, and he was able to get something positive out of it.
Feet looks to put it in the air again. And that time it's complete. I believe that's A.J. Taylor.
Pass is complete to A.J. Taylor.
Taylor will get it
Williams
up
again
to
on
about the
stop.
3-yard line. That'll set up a 3rd and 2.
Gain
Obviously,
of 4.
one more yard and it's a
3rd
touchdown.
down and 2 from the 3.
And it was a nice play. Jacob, that ball was a tad bit high, which slowed A.J. down. If he'd have caught that one in stride, I think he would have scored.
English is going to take the handoff and he is going to walk into the end zone.
There's English.
Touchdown Flyers! A.J. English for a 3-yard touchdown run, and the Flyers extend their lead here in the 1st half to 27-0.
And I'll take a moment to comment on number 80, Ellis Tompkins, right there. I mean, that play right there, the kickoff
Avon
block
Smith on to the
is
extra
key.
point.
That's what opens up the hole.
And Avon Smith will see his
Nathan
first
Millette
action
to
of the
hold.
night. And the kick is up, and it is good. So after the conversion, the Flyers now lead at 28-0, and we're going to go down to the sideline for Art Carmody. Well, unfortunately, it looks like we have a little bit of a technical snafu with the camera on the sideline down there with Art. We'll see if we can remedy that situation and get that working before we get done here tonight.
Mansour to kick off.
Mansour back in to kick. The kick will be fielded at the 9-yard line by John Jernigan, and he'll be run out of bounds at the 17.
Hammer makes a tackle on Jernigan.
Hammer finally forces Jernigan out of bounds, and that's where the Mariners will have it 1st and 10.
You know, I don't know what else you could say about Luke Hammer. He plays on special teams. Defensively, he is as strong as they come. He is one of the key components of the
8-yard return.
It's a great play downfield right there in open field.
1st and 10, Mariners at the 17.
Cameron Douglas is going to hand off this time to Jefferson, and Jefferson
Looks like he fumbled.
looks like he may have fumbled the ball. Let's see what the officials say. The Flyers say they have it, and they're
so.
running off the field with it. If possession is 9/10 of the law, Michael Key
Covered by Michael Key.
is going to walk off the field with possession for the Flyers. And it'll be great field position as it is.
13-yard line.
The Flyers will have it 1st 10 from the Mariner 13. Great job by the Flyer defense there, just adding to their list of accomplishments for the first half, John.
Yeah, the running back was trying to kick it outside, and the Flyers had really kind of strung it out very well, and so they were able to kind of punch the ball out as he was going down in easy recovery.
That pass is going to be incomplete.
Lafitte
Lafitte wanted Brandon Williams, but it just bounced off his hands
Once again,
right at the goal line. It'll be
reunion
2nd and
classes
10.
Tonight, we'd like to welcome the class of 1999, celebrating their 20th reunion here with us this weekend and tonight. Welcome to the class of 99.
It's like Wes Barlow's joined Lafitte in the backfield now.
That was a nice play call right there. Jacob Lafitte really threw that ball on the money. Brandon just dropped it.
So 2nd and 10. This time Barlow's going to get a carry. Barlow with a nice hole. Barlow across the 5, down to the 3. He's still going. Barlow, touchdown!
Yes.
Flyers! Wes Barlow with a 14-yard touchdown run. And a third running back for the Flyers gets in on the action as they extend their lead to 34-0.
You know, they held out Reese Ebarb on the scrimmage at the beginning of the season, Jamboree, and Wes Barlow really got a lot of carries, and so none of that right there is shocking. He really runs the ball well. You can see that he has good vision, and he really runs with some power as well.
Mansour back in to kick, and we're going to have a penalty before he's able to get the kick off. It's going to be offsides against Magnolia Charter. And let's see what the Flyers decide to do with that.
A reminder, alums will be asking you to go on the field and stand behind your decade sign as we have the homecoming
Looks like
court
they just
presentation.
declined the
So be
penalty.
sure we'll let you know when to move down there. But
So
get
Mansour
ready for halftime on the field.
ready to attempt the kick again. And the Mansour kick
Mansour's
is up
extra point
and
is
good.
Good.
So with 10:04 left here in the first half, the Flyers now lead it 35-0.
That ball went about 4 or 5 yards more. He may have been a little upset that he had to kick over again, so he was a little bit more into it.
Smith at the school.
Did not exchange game film with the Flyers, so the Flyers are going blind in tonight's game. Not quite sure what Magnolia Charter had on offense and defense, but so far the Flyers have been in complete control. At some point we'll start seeing some of the backups, but Flyers still want to get reps for their starters. John and David, back to you.
All right, thanks, Art.
David Smith.
Avon Smith now is going to get an opportunity to kick off. Monsour's leg probably cramping with all the action that he's gotten. And Smith will kick it to the 8-yard line where it'll be fielded by Jontavius Taylor. And Taylor will bring it across the 20 out to the 23. And the Mariners will have it there 1st and 10.
You know, I really like that directional kick that they do right there. I mean,
Taylor, Jontavius Taylor on the return.
Really, you know, I know Coach Mitchell
Landon Martin
spends a
and
lot of
Joshua
time on
Jackson
that, working
make
on the
the stop.
different ways of kicking. And so, you know, that right there, you know, you're starting the possession at the 23-yard line.
Return.
And again, he's got his kickers basically landing that
1st
ball
and 10,
about the 10-yard line at an angle, which, again, it makes it tougher to set up a blocking scenario when you have that. So he's really done a great job with his kickers.
So Cameron Douglas will lead his Mariners back onto the field. They trail at 35-0. He's going to keep this one. He had a hole there for a second, and we got a loose ball. Ball's on the ground, but let's see if they blew it dead before it came out. It looks like that is what they're saying. I think they had forward progress stopped at about the 20.
Douglas, the ball carrier,
which is going to be a loss of 3. Bodden and Birch on the stop for the Flyers.
No gain.
And another negative play for the Mariners. Douglas again is going to keep it, and he is going to be absolutely swallowed up at the 17-yard line by a host of Flyers. Just nothing doing tonight for the Mariners on offense.
Flyers at the 17.
You know, and I again have to comment on Dylan Williams. That is really a very nice play from the cornerback position. He read that very early, realized there wasn't going to be any kind of throw. He didn't have any passing responsibility, and he came up quickly and stuffed that play.
3rd and 16.
3rd and 16 after the 6-yard loss. The Mariners actually were able to create a hole that time, and Josh Jefferson's able to get it across the 20 down to the 22. So that is a 5-yard gain, which is, I believe, their biggest. Is that their biggest play from scrimmage tonight, John?
Tackled by Pierce Jackson.
And again, that's a play I don't really like because we had a cornerback and the outside linebacker coming up into the same gap, and so it was easy for the running back to run inside. So, you know, a little bit of miscommunication there.
So after the 5-yard gain, makes it 4th and 11. And the Mariners will punt. And once again, the punt takes a flyer bounce, and it'll be down incorrectly by the official, who should have downed it on the 39, but instead gives it to him at the 41. But I don't think it's really going to matter in the overall scheme of things. Flyers will have it there 1st and 10. 7:50 left here in the first half. Flyers lead it very comfortably 35-0.
Loyola ball 1st and 10 at the 41 of Magnolia.
So here come the Flyer offense. Comes the Flyer offense one more time. They are, correct me if I'm wrong, John, perfect so far. They've scored on every possession.
And really, I mean, it's been kind of a manhandling, as you might expect. I mean, the offensive line has done a fantastic job.
Feet's looking deep. He's got his man. Touchdown, Flyers. Trey Taylor from Jacob Lafitte, 41 yards on the pitch and catch, and the Flyers will extend their lead to 41-0.
And, you know, Trey Taylor is one of the most exciting players, you know, we have on the team, and you know, getting him the football in space, generally good things happen. So I like them running the deep route, looking for him. Again, it's giving teams that are going to look at this game film something else to think about.
To try the extra point.
Avon Smith back in to kick. He'll get another opportunity to attempt an extra point here.
Smith's kick
is good. We're going to go down. Let's see if we're going to go to Art right here. Nope. Let's see. Art is content for the moment. So, John, 7:41 left. Flyers now lead at 42-0. A lot of football game left. You think this is about the time we're going to start seeing the Flyer starters begin to make their exit?
I would imagine that they, you know, somewhere around this time, maybe giving them to halftime, the coaches may say there are certain plays we want to see run. Because, again, you are dealing with A.J. Taylor is playing his first year of football. You have a quarterback who is a sophomore. You have a backup running back who's the first year in the program. There are some things. He's got some veterans. He's got a great veteran offensive line. So you've got some things to work with. But these other kids need this game experience.
So Mansour to kick. Mansour's kick will be fielded at the 9-yard line. John Tavis Taylor will return it. Pretty good return up the middle that time, John. Up to the Mariner 30-yard line. So best kick return of the night for the Mariners.
It is, and again, you had a couple of Loyola Flyers kind of running through their lane right there where they should have been breaking down and actually making the tackle.
It's a 21-yard return to the 30.
So again, this is all game film that's going to help the coaches.
1st and 10 Mariners.
So 1st and 10 now. Mariners would just like to get a first down here, John. Just get something going, get a little positive momentum. I'm sure the Mariner coaching staff is all about small victories right now, but the snap's going to go over Douglas's head, and they're not able to fall on it. It's going to be picked up by the Flyers, and the Flyers are going to have a scoop and score. Touchdown, Flyers! Flyer defense gets in on the act. That is Sam Zwack, who scooped it up and took it into the end zone. And just like that, the Flyers are right back in business, putting points on the board, and that'll make it 48-0.
But again, that's a costly situation right there. Dylan Williams is coming off the field. I'm sure this is his
with an 8-yard
last play
return
of the game. But, I mean,
for the Flyers.
You know, Dylan has had injuries. He had some injuries coming into the season. And so, you know, again, this is not the kind of situation you want to see for the Flyers for the rest of the season.
Well, and that's why I was asking a minute ago, is this where you start to see some of the starters step out? Because this is where you're playing against an inexperienced team. Things happen. You know, you've done about all you can do up nearly 50-0 at halftime. And frankly, this might be
Monster on to the extra point.
a great opportunity that your younger kids likely won't have the rest of the year with the way the schedule sets up. So
that's true.
Monster's kick is up.
Kick is good.
And once again is good. 7:21 left here in the game. Flyers now lead 49-0. And we're going to go now down to Art Carmen.
Flyers up 49-0, really pouring it on, but The Flyers are not trying to run up the score on the touchdown pass from Jacob Lafitte on the prior possession. He just saw a pre-snap read and made a good throw to the wide open receiver, but that was not the intended call. Flyers in complete control. You'll start seeing some of the backups here as we get near halftime and the start of the second half. John and David, back to you.
All right, thank you, Art. So, John,
Once again, thanks to our All-American.
I don't know that you and I have done a game like this since we've been at this. It's been several years, and the Flyers are absolutely dominating this one.
And especially
Nearly half a hun with 7 minutes, 21 seconds left in the second quarter.
You know, in these games right here, this is one of these things where you have backups. You don't want to just put all the backups in and blanketly cover the offense and defense with backups. This is a time to see if somebody who is a backup can play with some of the guys that are starters. And again, you know, kind of mixing and matching is going to be really important. You want to get these kids experience. Because you never know what's going to happen with injuries.
Avon Smith's going to kick off, and that's going to be one he wishes he had back because the kick rolls out of bounds at the 6-yard line, and that's going to be a penalty on the Flyers. So after the penalty, the Mariners will have it 1st and 10 from their own 35.
And Dylan Williams is out of the game now.
The handoff's going to go to a new ball carrier this time. That's the first time we've seen Josiah Camarillo.
Camarillo carries.
Josiah
Camarillo
is only an 8th grader, John. That's a pretty impressive sized 8th grader.
It is, and I tell you, I mean, again, Luke Hammerter sitting there waiting on him and clear, just kind of cleaned up by Jackson coming up from the safety position.
So after the 2-yard loss, make it 2nd and 12. This time the handoff's going to go inside to Mekhi Butler, and Butler's going to have his forward progress stopped at the 33, which is going to be right out the line of scrimmage, so no gain, make it 3rd and 12.
And really, I mean, Cody Kilgarland just stuffed up that whole play right there. He was in the hole, and then the back tried to clear him, and Kilgarland got a great hold of his jersey and just kind of held him up for everybody else to clean it up.
No gain, 3rd and 12.
Douglas is going to pitch back that time to Camarillo. Camarillo is going to be brought down at the 29. He's going to lose 4 yards.
Camarillo is not by Hammeter.
The Mariner punting unit will
timeout on the field.
Make their way back out onto the field, and we're going to have a timeout.
Members of the student section.
A great play by Luke Hammeter right there. He wasn't
do not throw any
fooled by
objects onto
anything,
the field.
and as soon as he saw that pass up, he came up flying up and was able to make the play.
Which could result in a penalty and your immediate removal from the premises.
We'd like to thank our All-American sponsors tonight: Auto Body Express, Baker Machine, Barksdale Federal Credit Union, Jimmy Granger and Cane River Auto Adventures, Dr. Peter Nasser, Home Federal Bank, Graph Orthodontics, Specialist Hospital and Orthopedic Specialists, Sure Access MD, the Think Network, and River City's Interventional Pain Specialist. So after the quick timeout, the Mariners will send their punting unit back out onto the field. Flyers, who haven't actually been in a return setup for the last couple of punts. Jefferson to punt for the Mariners. And he gets a good snap this time. No rush by the Flyers. And actually gets a Mariner bounce. That ball is going to roll down across the 35 down to the
37-yard punt
33.
by
That's a
Jefferson.
37-yard punt by Jefferson. Easily his best effort of the
Returned
night.
by the Flyers. First
And
10,
that's where the
33.
Flyers will have it 1st and 10.
So this, I believe, is the longest Flyer drive. The ball is going to actually start at the 33-yard line, looks like. I think the longest drive before that was maybe the
Those who are
45.
involved in the homecoming court presentation, please report to the patio area at this time. Homecoming court presentation, if you're involved in that ceremony, please report to the patio section at this time.
Kashawn English in the backfield with Lafitte. Bad snap. Lafitte's not able to hang on to it. He dives on it and looks like he got it back. Great job there by Lafitte, who wasn't able to get a hold of it at first, but really hustled and got on top of it, save it for the Flyers. He'll get it back right to the line of scrimmage where it'll be 2nd and 10.
So it's good. We've got a 2nd and 10 situation. It's going to be interesting to see what the play call is and see what the execution is.
Feet's going to roll right and look to throw. He's looking downfield. He's got some separation. That's A.J. Taylor, and A.J. Taylor is going to cross the end zone. Touchdown, Flyers! 47 yards. 67 yards on the pass play, and the Flyers are humming now.
67 yards and a touchdown.
55 to nothing with 5 minutes left here in the first half.
Yeah, an interesting call, 2nd and 10, and rolling out, giving, the quarterback the time to run a deep route. It was a nice throw by Jacob, nice catch by A.J., and then shaking the
David
defender.
Smith for the extra point.
Smith back on to attempt the extra point. And looks like we got a flag. No signal yet what it is. So it's going to be offsides against Magnolia. We'll see if the Flyers decide to. Yeah, they're going to decline that penalty like they did the last time in that situation. So Smith will kick it off, or kick it from the 10-yard line.
Penalties decline. Retry the extra point by David Smith.
So the Smith kick is up, and it
Extra point
is
is
good. So 56 to nothing now, and we're going to go, let's see, we're going to go to Art Carmody. Looks like Art.
Flyers up 56-0. Beautiful touchdown pass from Jacob Lafitte to A.J. Taylor. Again, the Flyers offense trying to get those reps. It's maybe only week 3 of the season, but the Flyers trying to get in mid-season for them. Incomplete control. Stay tuned. We'll have Coach Jeter at halftime. We'll ask him about the first half and what he wants to see in the second half. David and John, back to you.
All right, thanks, Art. So, John, it's only been an hour, but it seems like it's been longer. Flyers lead at 56-0. Still have 5 minutes left here in the first half.
Yeah, man, we're barely over a quarter and a half in this game.
Mansour to kick off.
Mansour set to kick. And the Mansour kick will be fielded at the 13. John Tavis Taylor will take it up to the 20. 7 yards on the return.
Taylor on the return. He's stopped by
And
Joshua
the Mariners
Jackson.
will have it there, 1st and 10.
Nice open field play by Josh Jackson, too.
8-yard return to the 20. 1st and 10, Magnolia.
The Mariners in no hurry. Play clock down to 4. They're going to get the snap off. Looks like they're going to be it's going to be a reverse. The ball was dropped though. But hustling in there to save the possession for the Mariners is number 70, Desmond Manning.
Jernigan, loss on the play.
A play that
Durrell makes the tackle.
looked kind of disheveled from the get-go, John, and it kind of ended up like it was.
And it is. I mean, the Mariners are trying to run a lot of plays that are looking
Loss
for
of 10,
misdirection.
second and 20.
They've taken a lot of time in the backfield, and the Flyer defense, isn't fooled by any of it. And so these plays just continue to mount as negative plays.
And once again, Josh Jefferson goes nowhere. He'll lose 2 yards on the carry. A host of Flyer
Jefferson
defenders
tackled by Birch
met him
and
at the
Bodden.
line of scrimmage, led by
Loss
Ian
of
Birch and Jack Bodden. Make it 3rd and the proverbial country mile.
Alums, we want you on the field at halftime. Stand behind your decade signs. If you would at this time, make your way to the field. You can either, on the sidelines actually, either the patio side by the field house, or you can go to the parking lot side. Either way is accessible to the field, so that we may start homecoming on time. Please make your way to the sidelines at this time.
Douglas again hands off to Jefferson, and Jefferson again goes nowhere. Almost puts it on the ground again, but they say he was down.
Tackled by Michael Key.
He gets back to the line of scrimmage,
No
and that's
knee on
it.
the play.
Michael Key on the
4th and
stop
21.
for the Flyers.
And again, Key's coming
Alums,
from
make your way to
the other
the
side. So, I mean, that's
sideline
really
area,
a very
either by the
instinctive play
patio
right
in front
there.
of the field house, or on the sidelines on the parking lot side, and get ready to stand behind your decade signs when halftime begins. Let's see which decade has the most alums here tonight.
And Josh Jefferson's going to look to try to get a punt off at least as good as his last one. No return set up for the Flyers.
Jefferson to punt.
Jefferson's punt is going to land at the 31 and take a great Mariner bounce. That's about as good as the Mariners could have probably hoped
That's a
for.
35-yard
It'll roll
punt.
out of bounds at the 44 of Magnolia Charter, and that's where the Flyers will have it 1st and 10 with 2:34 left in the first half.
And I mean, this is another, really short field. It's hard in these games. You want to get work in, but the defense really isn't offering much resistance. But you've got to continue to try to develop.
We
the
will
team.
have the homecoming court presentation on LCP TV during halftime.
So, John, should we stay up here and do the presentation of the decades and talk about everybody as they go out onto the field, how old they look?
I'm going to not do that.
Some people age better than others,
Absolutely.
John.
Absolutely.
That's Keyshawn English.
Keyshawn English on the carry,
Loss of one.
loss of 1.
2nd and
When a
11.
very, very, very rare negative play for the Flyers in this game.
They've mass
Now
substituted
quarterback for the Flyers, number 6, Cooper DeFatta.
So Cooper DeFatta in the game. Sorry, I didn't pick that up last play. Cooper DeFatta replaces Jacob Lafitte. Cooper DeFatta, the freshman. He'll hand off to English. English is across the 40 down to the
English, the ball carrier.
37, but there is a flag in the Flyer backfield.
There's a flag on the play.
So, John, I see another young man out on the field right there with a number I think you're pretty familiar with. See young number 25 down there at wide receiver?
I do. I see him.
Who would that be?
It would be a young
Holding the call against
freshman.
Loyola.
I believe that would be a young John Carmody. I know you have to be a proud papa looking down and seeing your young man out there on the field for the first time in his football career on the varsity.
I hope he's enjoying himself.
It's a 12-yard penalty. Brings up 2nd and 23.
It's okay for you to get a little more excited,
At
man.
the 43 of Loyola.
Second down, Flyers. Handoff's going to go to English. English is He's going to carry it across the 45 down to the 49.
Jamarcus Chapman makes the stop.
That's about a 5-yard gain. Make it 6. Jamarcus Chapman on the stop.
Gain of 6
for the Mariners.
3rd and 17.
That's going to make it 3rd and 17. 1:23 left here in the first half. Flyers lead it very comfortably, 56-0. DeFato's going to look to throw this time, and he's got a man complete across midfield down to the 35-yard line to Chase Jackson, and that's going to be about 1 yard short of the first down.
First down Flyers. Once again, all alums should be in the patio area or on the field.
No, nice throw that time by Cooper DeFato.
It really was. It was a nice little
your way to the sidelines right now.
little slant route, and he had to put a little mustard behind it.
First
He did a
and
good
10
job.
to 35. Correction, 4th
So
down.
it's going to be 4th and 1, and the Flyers will go for it with 37 seconds left here in the first half. DeFato's going to keep this one. DeFato's got a first down, and he'll be run out of bounds at the 31. That's a gain of 5 and a Flyer first down. It does stop the clock with 25 seconds left. So smart of DeFato, the freshman right there. Good awareness to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Make it a gain of 5. 1st and 10 at the 30.
DeFato's going to hand off to Barlow that time, and
Barlow,
one of the rare occasions tonight that the Mariners are able to wrap them up. That was Desmond Manning on the stop.
Again, this is really important because the varsity offensive line certainly was able to kind of manhandle them. But as we've already talked about, the Magnolia team is really a bunch of sophomores and freshmen. So this is more of an even matchup right here.
All right, so that's the end of the first half, and we're going to go down to Art Carmody on the sideline.
All right, this time we asked our alums to start.
Coach Jeter here, Flyers up 56-0 at halftime. Coach, what is your analysis of the first half?
Once again, pleased with our defense. Playing physical again, playing good assignment football. Offensively, we're coming along. We're still doing some things that are going to hurt us later down in the road if we don't continue to get better. Still some stupid penalties, some missed assignments. We're just a little bit better than they are right now, and making it better than what we really are offensively. Still a good first half. Happy with it, but still some things we got to clean up to get better going into district.
In the second half, you put in some backups here at the end of the first half. In the second half, what do you want to see out of your young guys?
I just want to see them go out there and have fun. See them execute. Let them get acclimated to playing on Friday night. Hopefully, some of the fans will stay around and cheer those young guys on.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Art. So your score here at halftime: Loyola 56, Magnolia Charter nothing. We've got some great halftime entertainment for you, one of the Loyola Hype video. And when we come back from that, we'll have the homecoming entertainment on the field for you. And John and I will be back right before the second half begins to talk about everything we saw here in the first half and what you can expect to see in the second half. You're watching Flyer Football on LCP TV.
Things going our way, right? Okay. All right, but hey, sometimes Friday nights are just that way. Okay. We got some scores, and we can't control zebras, right? We can't control the umpires, referees, whatever. We got to keep fighting through it. Do not lose patience. Do not lose focus. Do not lose your discipline in the second half. Make the plays when the ball is coming to us. When the ball's in the air and it's coming to us, it's the most important thing in the world, and make the play.
FCA and Pep Squad. She enjoys spending time with her 4 cats. Ladies and gentlemen, freshman Bay, Gigi Lowry. Audrey Sanamon. She's the daughter of Matthew and Cindy Sanamon. Her activities include basketball and faith. Her interests include hanging out with friends and watching Netflix. Tonight, Audrey is escorted by her father, Matthew Sanamon. Griffin Bolas. Sophomore maid, Frances Cambach. She is the daughter of John and Catherine Cambach. Her activities include cross country and soccer. She's a member of kickoff, SGA in faith, and Garden Park and FCA. Her hobbies include piano, hanging out with family, friends, and pets, and reading. Tonight, Frances is escorted by her father, John Cambach. Sophomore maid, Frances Cambach. Sophomore maid, Hannah Pham. Hannah is the daughter of Nam Phan and Lily Lee. Her activities include drawing and painting, playing piano, playing with her dog. Tonight she is being escorted by her father, Nam Pham. Sophomore maid, Hannah Pham.
There you go. Eyes right here. Stand up, Gavin. Stand one time. Big smile. There you go. Perfect. All right.
Junior maid, Benny Alford. Betty is the daughter of Benjamin Scott Alford and Lisa Dawn Alford. Betty's activities include cheer, piano, and soccer. She enjoys cheering on Loyola football, playing soccer, shopping, and hanging out with her friends. Tonight, she's being escorted by her father, Benjamin Scott Alford. Junior maid, Betty Alford.
One more maid.
Junior maid, Cheyenne LeBrock. She's the daughter of James Vizcarrondo and Aaron LeBrock. Cheyenne is actively involved in her church, St. Pius, as a reader, altar server, extraordinary minister of Holy Communion, and youth group. She's also a member of faith and works at the Montessori School in Shreveport. In her spare time, she enjoys watching Netflix, hanging out with friends. Tonight, Cheyenne is being escorted by her father, James Vizcarrondo. Junior maid, Cheyenne LeBrock. Senior maid, Tiara Ellis. She is the daughter of Larry and Tawana Ellis. Her activities include cross country, bowling, track, key club, and she is senior class vice president. Her hobbies include swimming, raising bell peppers, traveling, decorating, bowling, and she also works at Raising Cane's. Tonight she's being escorted by her father, Larry Ellis. maid, Tiara Ellis.
One shot like that down, there you go. Now, give her a hug and look at me. Big smile, nice.
Senior maid, Gabby Steinmetz. She is the daughter of Dr. Grady and Jennifer Steinmetz. Gabby's involved with Faith on Fire, soccer, and manages the bowling team. In her spare time, she enjoys hanging out with her friends, babysitting her siblings, spending time with family, and working at Counterculture. Tonight, she's being escorted by her father, Dr. Grady Steinmetz. Senior maid, Gabby Steinmetz. Pep Squad favorite, Laurel Kirby. She is the daughter of Carrie and Heather Kirby. She's a member of Pep Squad, FCA, SGA, Garden Park, Key Club, Photography Club, and Faith. Laurel enjoys volunteering at church, photography, working with kids, and cheerleading. Tonight, she's being escorted by her father, Carrie Kirby. Pep Squad favorite, Laurel Kirby. Cheerleader favorite, Carly Drake. She's the daughter of Vince and Krista Drake. She's involved in cheerleading, SGA, National Honor Society, where she's this year's secretary, Spanish Club, Faith, and is a Eucharistic minister. In her spare time, Carly enjoys hanging out with her friends, playing with her puppy, and Netflix. Tonight, she's being escorted by her father, Vince Drake. Cheerleader favorite, Carly Drake. Football sweetheart, Lauren Rich. She is the daughter of Dr. Scott and Stacy Rich. Her activities include football, athletic trainer, National Honor Society, Blue Alpha Theta, Student Government Association, Art Club, Green Club, Star Wars Club, and Esports Club. Her hobbies include sailing, scuba diving, where she's certified as an advanced rescue and nitrox diver. Tonight, Lauren is being escorted by her father, Dr. Scott Rich. Football sweetheart, Lauren Rich. Presenting Laura with an autographed football is Key Club advisor, Mr. Mark Pachankas. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 Loyola Homecoming Queen is Sydney Wan. She's the daughter of Brian and Lana Wan. Sydney is a member of Student Government Association. Faith plays varsity volleyball, involved in Garden Park. Her hobbies and interests include hanging out with friends and traveling to Nashville. Tonight, Sydney is being presented by her father, Ryan Wan. Crowning the Queen is our principal, Mr. John LeBlanc. Ladies and gentlemen, 2019 Homecoming Queen, Sydney Wan.
Slide down this way just a second. There you go. One more time, right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2019 Loyola Homecoming Court.
down that way to the end zone.
We have a found phone. A found phone turned into the press box. This might be yours. I need to identify it. Come to the press box if you are phoneless. And thanks to all of our alums who populated the decade signs here at halftime. We appreciate all of you and all you do for Loyola College Prep, especially those celebrating reunions this weekend. It's so great to have you back with us.
Things going our way, right? Okay. All right, but hey, sometimes Friday nights are just that way. Okay. We got some scores, and we can't control zebras, right? We can't control the umpires, referees, whatever. We got to keep fighting through it. Do not lose patience. Do not lose focus. Do not lose your discipline in the second half. Make the plays when the ball is coming to us. When the ball is in the air and it's coming to us, it's the most important thing in the world, and make the play.
Welcome back to Mesmer Stadium. About to kick off the third quarter. Flyers lead it comfortably tonight, 56-0 over the Magnolia Charter School. We've got a few milestones that we've either already passed or quickly approaching here tonight. Last time the Flyers scored 40 points in a game was versus BTW in 2016, and we blew by that somewhere in the beginning of the second quarter. 50 points last time was 2012, and with 56 at the moment, we've surpassed that milestone, and the next one in front of us would be 60. Last time we did that was 1967, John, where we scored 74 points versus Haynesville. It's kind of hard to imagine that Haynesville, being what they are today, gave up 74 points, but that was just a testament to how good Loyola, or at that time Jesuit, was back in those days. 1967, we weren't even around yet, John.
I think Haynesville's taken it out on us a few times for that score.
Yeah, I think they've gotten their comeuppance a couple of times. So the Flyers sitting at 56. We shall see if we get to those milestones. So we're going to see a host of new Flyers for the second half. All the young Bucks will take their turn.
Joshua Jefferson to kick off.
Jefferson set the kick for Magnolia. And its kick's going to roll out of bounds at the 32.
Kickoff goes out of bounds.
That'll draw the flag. And let's see where that'll end up being marked. John, always good to see all the old farts like us down at homecoming. Everybody's I gotta say, our age group, the 80s, was looking pretty good, really. A lot of flat bellies down there, which is kind of surprising. A lot of people with a lot less hair, myself amongst them.
That's why I go back to what we said. This is a wonderful experience to come out here for homecoming each year, and I certainly encourage anybody who's listening to participate in years to come. It's a great atmosphere out at Mesmer, very family-oriented. Great place to bring kids and grandkids and really get to appreciate the spirit that the kids have and that the alumni bring each time that they're here at the stadium.
All right, so here come the Flyers, and it's going to continue to be Cooper DeFata, and DeFata crosses the 50 down to the Magnolia 48, but we're going to have another penalty in the Flyer backfield.
Flag on the play.
And I would imagine that's going to come back. Let's see. No, it's against Magnolia. So we're going to tack it on at the end of that nice Cooper DeFata run. So the Flyers are already in business here to start the second half.
I didn't see that. They called a dead ball and sportsmanlike conduct penalty, so it must have been something kind of away from the tackle.
Yeah, it came late. He threw it pretty much right at the end of DeFata's run.
A 12-yard gain by DeFata, a 15-yard penalty.
So 27 net yards.
We'll move the ball.
Combining the run and the penalty will move the ball down to the Magnolia 33. First down for the Flyers. This time DeFata is going to hand off to Barlow. Barlow is going to take it down to the 26 of Magnolia. That'll be a gain of 7 and make it second and 3.
It really, it was a great little run by Barlow right there. Very nifty. He had to shift left and really kind of put his head down. He does that very well.
This time DeFata's going to keep it, and DeFata is able to make his way up to the 20-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 6. Williams on the stop for Magnolia, and that'll be a Flyer first down.
20-yard line, gain of 6, first down Flyers.
So we had a little movement that time. Let's see if they say if the Flyers drew them or if this is going to go against Magnolia, and it's going to go against Magnolia. So 5 freebies there for the Flyers. Make it 2nd and 5 now from the 15-yard line. Excuse me, 1st and 5. 1st and 5 from the 15. Pat is going to keep this one. And the ball's knocked out of his hands.
Knocked down by number 12,
his intended receiver was John Carmody, but knocked down in the backfield. So young John will have to wait for his first career reception in a varsity game. Make it 2nd and 5.
Yeah, the JV offense is looking good. They've actually moved the ball down efficiently, really running the ball very well between Cooper DeFata and Wes Barlow.
DeFata's going to hand it off to Barlow this time, and Barlow make it down to about the 17-yard line. He's going to actually lose a couple of yards on that play. Washington brings him down short of the line of scrimmage, so that'll make it 3rd and 6.
Make a loss of 2. It'll be 3rd down and
Looks like they
7.
had a little bit of trouble with the handoff right there, which kind of delayed the play and really wouldn't allow him to get upfield quick enough.
Fata's pass incomplete, intended for Carmody.
Again,
Fourth down.
Good pass right there. Just a little bit high and a little hard to handle. So we may get a field goal attempt here today.
So 4th down, and we sure will. Mansour is going to attempt a 34-yard field goal right here. He's kicking into about a 6-mile-an-hour wind. The kick is up, and it is no good. Just a little bit left. And the Flyers, for the first possession of the second half, are going to exit the field with no points. So Magnolia takes over 1st down. They'll have it at their own 17-yard line.
There's timeout on the field.
And we're going to get a quick timeout on the field. Loyola College Prep Athletics would like to extend a welcome to all of our Blue Seat patrons and thank you for your support this season. All sports passes, which are good for admission to all Loyola regular season home athletic events, are still available. Please contact Jessica Smith at the school for more information or stop by the Anderson building during normal business hours to speak to her. Get your Blue Seat passes in time for the upcoming basketball and soccer seasons and in time for the busy spring sports season.
So the Magnolia offense is still going to have to face the first-team Loyola defense.
So 6 minutes left here in the third quarter. Clock moving much quicker here in this quarter. Seems to be some confusion on the field here. It looks like they're going to move the ball to the 20. John, can you? Is that what they're saying? It would
be first down, so the chain should move with it. So
okay, all right.
Looks like they're trying to do that, but there we go. Looks like the chain crew's got it now.
There we go. Chain crew. Always have trouble with the chain crew, John.
We've mentioned the chain crew quite a lot.
We have. You know, it's kind of like the deal about being an offensive lineman. If you're having a good game, if you don't have your name called.
Makes the stop.
Zwak on the stop for the Flyers. No game.
No gain.
Second and 10. So Douglas takes the snap and hands off to Jefferson, and Jefferson is going to get it back to the line of scrimmage, and then we're going to have another flag.
It looks like a flag for a holding on Magnolia.
And, John, I was wondering why the quarters seem to be disappearing so quickly. We are playing with a running clock now in the second half, and the crowd is excited because their man, number 70, Tristan Dupuis, has made his way into the game. It's about as exciting as we've heard the student section in a while.
To the 10-yard line.
And giving Cody Kilgarn a rest. He really has played very well tonight.
So second down 20 after the penalty that goes against Magnolia. Again, the snap goes over Douglas's head. Douglas isn't able to bring it in. Let's see if the Flyers got on it before it went out of the back of the end zone. And no, they're going to say the ball went out of the back of the end zone before the Flyers touched it. And now we've got a silly penalty. Yes, Ian Birch in a game like this, just walk off the field. But no, he was hooping and hollering around and drew the flag. I'm sure Coach will have a little something to say about that. Not that it really is going to mean anything in terms of the outcome.
Well, it does mean something because it really is your demeanor.
We want to act like we've been there before, as Lou Holtz would say.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's just a learning lesson for all the kids.
So the Flyers will pick up 2, and then the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff here.
So they'll bring it to the 35, I would imagine,
yes.
from the 20.
After the score is now 58-0 Flyers. 4 minutes, 11 seconds left here in the third quarter. Again, we have a running clock, so that's why the quarter has bled away so quickly. I have a feeling both coaches are just fine with that arrangement.
Yeah, this is where things kind of get loosey-goosey. You're trying to get kids into games. You're trying to get them some playing time. So, are they in the right position every time? These things can be great to see who's ready to play, who's ready to step up for your next year, even for later on in this year. And so, all of these kids need to embrace every minute that they're able to get into this game, be it, with the starters or with the JV.
So Pierce Jackson and Trey Taylor back to receive the kickoff. Jackson's kick is going to go past Taylor, and really nice kick that time by Jackson. Taylor better get on that. It's a live ball. He picks it up at the 1. Trey Taylor across the 10, up to the 20, across the 30. He makes it up to the LCP 45-yard line, a gain of 44 on the return. So nice job by Trey Taylor.
44-yard return.
Turning what looked to be a pretty nice kick by Magnolia into a great return and, again, solid field position for the Flyers.
Yeah, it is really fun to watch him in open space. He has got a lot of quickness and he has got a lot of moves.
DeFata's going to keep this one. He tries the right side, but has nowhere to go. A nice tackle that time by Andres Mosley. And that'll make it, they're going to say he lost about a yard and make it 2nd and 11.
It really was a nice play by the cornerback. Wide receiver Grayson Hutchins went in to kind of get a seal block on the safety and leaving the cornerback there to make that play. Did a nice job.
Handoff goes to English. English with a nice hole, make it across midfield all the way down to the Magnolia 49-yard line. That'll be a gain of 7, and it'll set up a 3rd down and 4 for the Flyers.
Gain of 7. 3rd down and 4 at the 49 of the Mariners.
And I know Coach would love to see his JV team string together a couple of first downs here.
I absolutely agree.
DeFata passes complete that time over the middle to Brooks Rogers. Brooks Rogers takes it down to the Magnolia 35. That's a gain of 14 and a Flyer first down.
It was a great play call, a great delivery by DeFata, and really a nice catch and run by Brooks Rogers.
Handoff goes to English this time. English power running his way up to the 31-yard line. That'll be a 4-yard gain and make it 2nd and 6. Scott on the stop for Magnolia.
It's a gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Clock still runs. 1 minute, 16 seconds left in the third quarter. Flyers lead it 58-0. Remember, last time they scored 60 was 52 years ago. DeFata, he'll be brought down in the backfield. That was Malik Washington who came flying in from the left side and brought DeFata down back just behind the original line of scrimmage. 5-yard loss will set up a 3rd and 11.
Again, Malik Washington's one you're going to have to watch because, he made that play on the quick out. He batted the ball down, and there he's getting a sack. He is still playing. Even though the team's down 58-0, he's still coming.
DeFata's going to look to throw. He looks downfield. He's got a man. That pass is complete. Again to Grayson Hutchins. And DeFata's shown some nice poise and a good arm here in his time since Jacob Lafitte checked out of the game.
It really is. It was a nice little out pattern. Grayson did a nice job of keeping both feet in bounds. It was a nice throw by Cooper, too.
So the Flyers still with 1 yard to go for a first down. It's 4th and 1 here. And that handoff will go to Barlow, and Barlow will cross the 25 down to the 23, and that'll be enough for a first down. And that'll be the end of the third quarter. So not much scoring in the third, comparatively speaking, and we're going to go down to Art Carmody on the sideline.
Flyers defense pitching a shutout, and offensively the Flyers getting some backups in, getting some good reps as they continue to grow tonight. But the Flyers in complete control tonight. Moving on the road next week, and then we'll be back here in 2 weeks for Huntington. But Coach Jeter's got to be pleased. So far, the Flyers have stayed healthy tonight and put up a lot of points offensively and defense. As I said before, pitching a shutout. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Art. So as I was saying, only 2 points in the third quarter. Flyers safety accounted for all of the points scored there. Flyers lead at 58-0. Start of the fourth. So John, with the fourth quarter still in front of us, I'd have to say that the Flyer coaching staff has to be very pleased with how this entire game has panned out. It's probably about exactly as Coach Jeter would have wanted it.
Right, and you know, your JV players certainly haven't got the same practice time your varsity players are, so you're going to expect a certain level of mistakes. But you want to see these kids come out here and actually compete. These are the kids that are essentially their age that they're playing against right now. And so these drives are important. It gives this JV confidence, make sure that they know that they belong out on the football field.
So the Flyers actually, in the break, they ended up giving them a first down here. It was 4th and 1 when we left. Not sure what happened. That time the handoff goes to, I believe that's Barlow again.
Barlow,
yes, it is.
Tackled by Joshua.
He's brought down by Josh Jefferson, but not before Barlow gets all the way down to the Magnolia 5 on an 18-yard scamper. 1st and goal, Flyers.
A great run by Wes Barlow. Again, he is somebody that I could see contributing in the running game as the season goes on.
Well, yeah, the Flyers are definitely okay at the running back position with Ebar, English, and Barlow, John. Not to mention the ability to stick Trey Taylor in there. And there goes Barlow. Touchdown, Flyers. 5 yards on the touchdown run. That'll extend the Flyer lead to 64-0, pending the extra point. So there's the most points the Flyers have scored in 52 years, John, right in front of your very eyes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously this is a mismatched team, and Magnolia is, you know, starting from scratch, and certainly, you know, they're coming of age, and you know, they've got a lot of freshmen and sophomores, and so all this playing time that these kids are getting, it's going to be usable for them in the coming years.
Is good.
So after the Smith kick, the Flyers now lead at 65-0. 10 minutes, 38 seconds left here in the fourth quarter, but as we have already stated, the clock is running, so that's a little misleading if you're going by normal football time. That 10 minutes is going to bleed out pretty quick here. It's a bit of a shame if you're one of the Flyer players, because they actually probably could have eclipsed the all-time record for points in a game in this game had they not been going with a running clock in the second half. But I think playing with a running clock was certainly the right call.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you just have to finish these games out. We talked about this in the last couple of games where, you know, you've got to win. You know, it's in your pocket right now, but you've still got to finish it out. You've got to not do things loosey-goosey. You got to take care of business. Make sure you don't get anybody hurt and move on to next week.
67th Annual Style Show, Born on the Bayou. Tickets can be purchased online.
So Matt Mansour, he'll kick deep. Ball will bounce at the 11-yard line. Take a Magnolia. Bounces off the Magnolia player. That was a live ball. It'll finally roll out of bounds at the 13-yard line. An ill-advised decision there by Makai Butler, who should have just let that one roll dead.
Now this is interesting. Now we're going to have the JV defense play. So
it'll be Magnolia ball 1st and 10 at the 14.
So Magnolia 1st and 10 from their own 15. That handoff's going to go to Butler. Butler's got a lot of room in front of him. Butler across midfield. Makai Butler looking to go 86 yards, and that's exactly what Makai Butler is going to do. 86 yards, no flags. Touchdown, Magnolia.
Butler, 86-yard touchdown run.
So I know the Flyers don't want to give something like that up, especially on the first play when the JV defense steps in. But, you know, part of you's got to kind of feel good for Magnolia to put something up as a school that's obviously struggling and being their first year in football. You know, those kids are out there busting their butt in practice every day, just like the Loyola kids are. And to get at least one moment to feel good in a game like this, you kind of feel good for them.
That's exactly right, but you don't like to see that as a coach.
Well, of course
and,
not.
And so
Coach Jeter probably doesn't feel that way.
So, you know, giving up an 80-yard run, I don't care if you're third team, you know, you don't want to see that done. You want to make sure that you're playing your responsibilities and actually getting down and tackling somebody.
Douglas for the extra point.
This ought to be interesting. They're going to call a timeout to talk about this. This will be the first extra point that they have attempted all season. So history is in the offing here with the first extra point in the history of Magnolia football about to be attempted, John. Not to make the moment any more grandiose than it really is.
But you know, I mean, you know,
ladies and gentlemen, those are the first touchdown in the history of Magnolia Mariner football.
Don't have talent. They're just young. And so when they're playing against kids that are basically their age, they match up
86-yard run by Mika Butler.
Yeah. And you know he's going to feel good about that tonight, John. I mean, that's the first points in the history of the school. You know, they were shut out in both of their first two games.
That'll always be on his resume right there.
I mean, you know, I know they don't want to give up a long run, but even the most, you know, strident Flyer fans gotta find some warm place in his heart for that.
And they did. They got it. The Flyer crowd gave him a very nice ovation for the first score in the school's history.
And I got to say, that after this extra point, Flyer defense snuffs out the extra point. Cameron Douglas goes nowhere, and the Flyer defense is going to get a flag, which is a little suspect. I mean, he did throw him to the ground, but
ball carrier. Tackled by number 57, Corin Jackson.
He's going to call a horse collar tackle on Jackson.
I didn't see him get his hands in there, but
the official said that's what he saw.
He seems pretty definitive.
Looked like he had a big old handful of jersey right there.
I agree.
But I got to give out a little bit of props and a shout out. Maybe they're listening somewhere tonight, out in the webverse. Ann Stokes, you've done a great job with the school. This was her baby, and this football team wouldn't be out there if it weren't for Ann Stokes and all she's done for the Magnolia school. So big shout out to
against the Flyers.
Ann, who happens to also be my cousin, but great job.
Penalty moves the ball to the 1-yard line. We will retry the extra point.
So after the penalty, we'll retry the point from the 1. That's going to be a fumble on the play. And
on the play. The try fails.
It's going to be it doesn't matter who recovered it. Short of the end zone, so no good on the extra point. 7:13 left in the fourth quarter. Flyers now lead at 65-6.
Yeah, and so, I mean, really hadn't gotten to work on the kick return special teams, really hadn't gotten to work on punt return special teams. We have gotten to see, of course, the kickoff team. The kickoff teams looked pretty good. We really haven't gotten to see our punt team, really work. So the special teams, you can't get a full grasp of everything in a game like this, and every coach wants to try to get every aspect of the game looked at, not only in games like this, but be able to see game film, see what mental mistakes may be able to be there that need to be cleaned up for games where it's going to be much more meaningful.
Pierce Jackson and Trey Taylor back deep to receive.
No, you're in trouble. Flyers set to receive. The Jefferson kick's going to roll down to the 15-yard line, and that's going to be where Pierce Jackson recovers it and runs it out to midfield, where he'll finally be brought down. And the Flyers will have it there. Actually, they're going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 48, 33 yards on the return for Jackson. That's where the Flyers will have it first and 10.
That was a nice open field tackle by number 22 for Magnolia, Mosley. He's actually made a couple of very nice tackles in this game, and I believe if that's right, he is a freshman. So, again, showing a lot of promise. On the return, it looks like there's a penalty.
So yeah,
walk back.
So after the penalty, the Flyers will
against the Flyers.
I didn't see what he said the penalty was. Did you? Let's see here. Holding.
We'll move the ball back to the 24-yard line.
Holding. It'll move it all the way back to the 24. So erase the Jackson. Nice return there.
Not sure what the officials have done right there. Looks like maybe the officials' timeout.
We'd like to thank Christus Highland Hospital.
Once again, I'd like to
thank
our All-American sponsors, Auto Body Express, Baker Machine, Barksdale Federal Credit Union, Jimmy Granger, and Cane River Auto Adventures, Dr. Peter Nasser, Home Federal Bank, Graff Orthodontics, Specialist Hospital and Orthopedic Specialist, Sure Access MD, the Think Network, and River City's Interventional Pain Specialist. We could not do this if not for our great sponsors.
And all sorts of information you need. Go to Loyola, the Loyola YouTube
So 6 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Flyers lead at 65-6. Magnolia defense coming back out onto the field.
I don't see a timeout taken off the board and decided. It looked like that must have been an official's timeout, maybe for heat.
Can't be. DeFata fumbles the snap, is able to corral it, and he'll carry it across the 25 up to the 26. He'll make a little bit of a lemonade out of what could have been lemons there. Picks up a couple of yards, make it 2nd and 8.
He does. One of the things he'll end up having to learn is
gain of 2.
When to get upfield.
2nd
right
and
there.
8.
So, as a quarterback trying to stretch that out all the way to the outside, it's tough. They're going to be people coming at you from behind. So when you have that opportunity to get upfield, it's time to get upfield.
Again, a high snap. DeFata's able to corral it, and this time he'll make it up to about the 30 before he's finally brought down. Malik Washington, their first for the Mariners.
3rd and 4.
He picked up 4 yards on the carry, which will make it 3rd and 4. Fata's going to look to throw, and the pass is going to be complete to his receiver. That's Brooks Rogers. Rogers up to the 35, and that's going to be enough for a Flyer first down. Gain of 5.
And that will be a first down for the Flyers.
A nice little play call right there. Brought him in motion, brought him back, throw a little screen out there, and he got good blocks out in front of him to get the first down.
Flyer offense playing with a little pace here. That's going to be English on the carry up to the 44-yard line. Going to be a gain of 7, be 2nd and 3.
Really a nice run right there.
Gain of 8. 2nd and 2.
Looks like they're going to give him 8 on that, so 2nd and 2.
All of the running backs really have run well tonight.
Yeah. Again, the handoff's going to go to English. Again, English with a pretty nice hole. He bounces it outside and gets it up to the 49. That's going to be good enough for a first down, call it 48, 5 yards on the carry. And
they look like they may be called a fumble.
Let's see. No signal yet from the official, and the Flyer offense is going to stay on the field. So first down, Flyers.
First down.
3 minutes, 14 seconds left. And you know this group of freshmen and mostly freshmen and sophomores would love to put some points on the board here at the end. And they're going to get a free 5 yards to aid in that endeavor. But frankly, with the running clock, the time is probably more their enemy than the field position at this point.
The ball to 46, 1st and 5 for the Flyers.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
If you want to see the Flyers put a few more points up here before the game ends. 1st and 5. Fat is going to throw. The pass is complete out to Rogers. Rogers actually is going to lose a couple yards right there. Quickly brought down
Tackled by number 2,
by Clarence Okray, and probably lucky that Okray didn't have one more step, or he would have been walking into the end zone right about now.
It snuffed out that play right there. They were really lucky to get the completion
6.
right there and get anything out of it.
So 2nd and 6, 2 minutes left. The fattest pass is going to be well over the head that time of Brooks Rogers. And Rogers looked like he was kind of gimped there for a second with a lame leg, but he still kind of got a little hitch in his giddy up.
Yeah, he took a little shot on that last little screen right there, and he may be trying to walk that off.
So 1:26 left in the football game. Flyers probably have maybe 3 more plays left at the most here, probably just 2.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe just 2.
And we're going to hand off to English. English is going to cross the 45 down to the 41. That's going to be right at, I was going to say,
by Malik Washington.
Say he is right on the line to gain, it looks like. Yes, he is, and that'll
gain of 6.
Should be good enough for a first down. See what they say, and as the officials mull this over, the clock continues to move.
And a first down.
46 seconds left.
Imagine
Flyers
this is
do get a
probably going to
first
be the
down.
last play of the game.
Does he go deep right here?
I believe it's going to be a safe run.
How bad do they want it?
I would imagine it's going to be a safe run.
I think you're right. I think the fact that they're taking...
There's no play clock actually
Yeah, the play clock
right
is
now.
not running. You're right. The game clock continues to run. I don't know if they're just going to wind it out here. And looks like both sides are content to just let this thing wind on down. So I believe this is going to be the end of the game. And it is. So your final score here at Mesmer Stadium, 65 for the Flyers. Magnolia Charter put 6 on the board. We'll be right back in just a second to wrap it up. You've been watching Flyer football on LCP TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Flyers get the W tonight here at Mesmer. 65-6 over the Magnolia Charter School. Flyers score the most points since 1967 when they scored 74 versus Haynesville. So tremendous showing by the Flyers tonight as they move to 3-0 on the young season. But it just gets tougher from here, John, as the Flyers will go to Jonesboro Hodge next week before they come back here to Messmer Stadium where they'll take on the Huntington Raiders. So, John, any final thoughts about tonight's game before we depart?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this at the start of the season about the maturation process, and as coaches, you're kind of looking to see what do you have, who's going to step up and play. And so this game is kind of, it's a difficult one because you really don't get a great look at things. But one of the things you get to see is whether or not the kids have their head in the game and whether or not they're playing with purpose. And so that's really, it'll show itself on film. It's something that they can look at. And from my perspective, it looked like they were. And that's a great place to start because the rest of these games are meaningful. This season, we've talked about the fact that they have a pretty good defense. We have good defensive line. We've got good linebackers. We've got good defensive backs. We start with a very good offensive line, and we have a good seasoned running back. You have a new quarterback. You have basically a whole new wide receiving core. So that was the early questions at the start of the season. And some of that is being answered for us. So, you know, a lot of what we expected to see, the names that we've been talking about, Durrell, Hammeter, Birch, Zwock, Kilgore, Dylan Williams. I mean, you go up and down the list on the defensive side of things. They have been what has been advertised for us. You know, I am curious to see how the maturation of the offense actually occurs. And in this game, it's really kind of tough to get that gauge. Now, you know, I feel good about where the Flyers are 3 games into the season. But, again, next Jonesboro Hodge is going to be no pushover. And then Huntington back here are certainly going to be a team that, you know, the Flyers are going to have to match up against. But that is what this season is building towards. And so I like what I've seen so far. But, again, when the competition gets a little bit stronger, it's going to be interesting to see if our boys are still matching up as well as they do in these first 3 games.
All right, so that's going to do it from here at Messmer Stadium. We'll see you again in 2 weeks on LCP TV when the Flyers take on the Huntington Raiders here at Messmer. For all of our wonderful crew, Gage Bowman, the producer, M. Hussein on the camera, Art Carmody down on the sideline, John Carmody here in the booth with me. Couldn't do it without Kyle Tanner and John James Marshall. All these folks are what make LCP TV happen, game in and game out. I'm David Winkler. I've enjoyed bringing this to you tonight, and we'll see you, like I said, again in 2 weeks when the Flyers take on Huntington. The Flyers move to 3-0 tonight as they defeat the Magnolia Charter School 65-6. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.